First of all, thank you for being here. It's always good to have you guys. Appreciate you covering us. Um, Kate, coming off of a bye week, I thought we got a lot done. Thought our players had a chance to rest, but also continue to work and try to make strides as a team. We're able to get a lot of recruiting done. Guys got back last night. They worked hard last night, and we're excited to have the chance to go to Morgantown and play against a tremendous West Virginia football team, a dynamic offense, just a tough, physical, fast, disciplined defense, and we know the test that's in front of us. So we're going to worry about ourselves, focus on ourselves, and playing as well as we can play. And but we are looking forward to the moment to have a chance to go out there and play against a ranked team on the road in a hostile environment. So with that, I'll see what questions you guys got.
Matt, Iowa State has really been the only team that's slowed down West Virginia's offense this year. What did you see from that game film?
Well, Iowa State's kind of done that to a bunch of people. They play that sort of bend but don't break style, but at the same time they get off blocks and make plays. And it's a different defense than us. So there's not a ton we can take from it. But I just think they were able to limit the explosive plays, and their guys got off blocks, made tackles, and I thought they had some nuances, some little wrinkles that they had put in for that game out on the perimeter to try to take away. West Virginia, people think they're a passing team. They can really run the football. But at the same time, they distribute the ball. And I think what's really cool is their three receivers all have about the same catches. And they're a big RPO team. They'll get the ball on the perimeter and let those guys run with it. And I thought Iowa State did a good job of taking a little bit of that away. For us, it's a little bit different. We have to kind of go back and watch some other games because we're more of a four-man front. So,
Matt, you guys haven't run the ball like you've wanted. You've acknowledged that. How much do you balance trying to give the defense a different look and not being one-dimensional or anything with not just continuing to run into a brick wall? I mean, you guys have a lot of those conversations.
No, I think we're not like we're throwing the ball way more than we're running it. So I think really our issues have been running it versus three-down teams. Like when we've run it versus the four-down teams, we've had a lot of success. And when we've run the ball over 150 yards, we've won. So it's, for us to go out there and just throw it 90 times, I think it wouldn't be fair to Charlie. It wouldn't be fair to, the guys. People would attack us. So we're going to continue to try to run it, keep people honest. It's just that we're certainly not a running team. We're a little bit more of a throwing team. But if you look at our offense right now, we're in the top. I don't know the numbers. You guys will know the numbers, but we're in the top 20 in third down. We're in the top 10 in red zone. We're in the top 10 in passing, or somewhere thereabouts. I'm not a statistics guy. We're just not running the football. We're not protecting the quarterback great. And so those two things usually come together. I think one of the things for us on offense is we've had a lot of first downs lately. We've had a lot of movement. We've had a lot of yards, but we're not creating very many explosive plays. And people are really just kind of doing what Iowa State did to West Virginia. They were letting us move the ball, but not letting us create explosive plays. And explosive plays really come when you're able to run the football. And so we'll continue to throw it more than we run it, but we have got to have a chance to win, find a way to run the football. And it's hard versus this defense. They're a 3-3. They're 3-3 stacked. There's people everywhere. They blitz. They confuse you. So this is certainly not the week that we're super excited to go try to figure that out. But we have good backs, and our offensive line gets a little bit better each week. So we have to find sort of something.
Matt, how much do you put on Charlie? You mentioned they try to confuse you. How much do y'all put on him to get you in and out of plays, or is it just run the play that's called in?
No, we have a lot of RPOs, kind of so similar to what Bryce was asking. So sometimes we're having it's a run-pass option all in one play, and so we might throw it 3 times and run it, 2 times. But we do ask Charlie to get us in and out of some plays, especially the Oklahoma game. We did a lot of it. Every week's a little bit different. We ask him and Tech both to handle the protections, and so that's really big this week. When you have a team that's can be coming from anywhere, you better, as a quarterback, you better know where the blitz is coming from and where your problems are so that you can solve them. And so, but Charlie's a smart guy, and he's worked hard at the mental side of the game, not just the physical side.
Wasn't a full open date since you play on Thursday, but what were the best benefits in your mind of having the extra time?
Yeah, the full, I think just a little time off for our players was good. I thought, we did that Wednesday practice. That was not the seniors. It was just the young guys. And I think that's, especially with the new redshirt rule, as we come down the stretch, seeing how guys have developed, allowing them to put something on tape where we can see, hey, can they help us, as guys get banged up. And I thought it was good just to, get out on the road and recruit. And for our players to go home. They needed a break. They've worked hard. Our players have worked really hard since August, and so just to have a day or two here, a day or two there. Even after this game, we'll get a couple days off, and hopefully we have 4 straight games. Hopefully be recharged, for that 4-game stretch.
With how explosive West Virginia can be, you talk a lot about what's next, what's next. How important is that mentality, especially on the road where they can, they may get you some for here and there.
Yeah, I mentioned this on the teleconference. I don't know if anyone listens to that, but no, I didn't mean that like that. If any of you guys listen to that, but we've played. We're going to play 3 ranked teams this year, and we'll have played all 3 on the road, and so. Starting with UTSA, which was loud, and then going to Oklahoma, which is loud, and going to Texas, which is loud, and now going into, Morgantown on a Thursday night, which we know will be raucous. You better have that type of mentality, and you better just eliminate distractions and control the things that you can control, which is the next play. And so they'll make some big plays on you, and you want to try to limit. Last year, it was a 10-10 ball game with like a minute 35 left in the first half, and they scored right before the half as time expired. We went in at halftime down, depressed, sad. They came out and they scored on the second play. So it went from 10-10 to 24-10 like that. And, we obviously mounted a comeback at the end. But they're explosive. And so when they make a play, you can't panic. You'd like to try to make it a 20-yard gain, not a 60-yard gain. But they have good players, and they've got a great system, a great scheme, great offensive line, NFL quarterback. They're going to do things. And on defense, they're going to blitz and confuse you and make plays. You better just keep playing. And that's the only thing you can control is the next play. And so that mindset to me is valuable on the road in football. It's valuable in life just to always look forward instead of looking back. And we'll have to do that.
What do you see from Will Greer?
Well, he's capable of making the big play. He calls the game at the line of scrimmage in a lot of ways. I know they have a system, but he'll change plays. He'll get them in and out of the right looks. He's accurate. He can move around in the pocket. He's an NFL caliber quarterback. He's played a lot of football. Played at Florida, transferred to West Virginia. He's played now at West Virginia, and you can tell he's an owner of that system. He understands it. He gets it. He's not just out there kind of playing. He fully understands what's happening, and so he's got great weapons around him. Again, they're not afraid to run the football. They'll just run the ball if you give them those looks, and they do it well with a really good offensive line. But I just think he manages and calls the game at a high level.
When you looked at those young guys, particularly that Wednesday practice, were there some guys that maybe you thought can help you down this stretch?
Yeah, I think guys that are playing, guys like Josh Fleeks and Taekwon, we have to get them to do more. Guys like Braylon and Ben Sims, and maybe more. My mind's a little more on offense right now, but on defense, we have a lot of guys that Mark Milton, B.J. Hansbard, Ashton Logan, that if hopefully help us here in the next 5 games, hopefully help us in a bowl game, and then definitely they'll be factors next season. So I think, we sit out there Wednesday and you're looking at our 2019 football team. It's a pretty good football team. And so I think for them to have a chance to realize that, and I thought for our seniors to have a chance to step back and coach a little bit, catch their breath, I thought, they really got into it. Ira and Greg and a bunch of those guys had a lot of fun, when we were competing against each other. And so when they came back to practice, I thought they had a renewed sense of purpose.
Who was the best coach among those seniors?
I don't know, but a bunch of them were pretty good. That's a good question. I would say probably Ira and Greg. They were in it as much as anybody. They were talking trash and having fun and running the ball and demanding that the D-line played a certain way. So probably Rob, Chris Platt, and Jalen McClendon, they both practiced. They wanted to practice, but the rest of the guys, I thought they all did a pretty good job.
How are you health-wise? You got everybody?
Me personally or the team?
I know it's a long season.
No, I'm just teasing.
I know it's a long season, and everybody's got banged up and nicks and
Yeah.
bruises, but as far as, like major
Yeah.
significant injuries, everybody pretty much.
Yeah, Xavier Newman came back and practiced yesterday. Khalil Keith came back and practiced yesterday. I'm not sure, Khalil's a little bit down the depth chart right now, but Xavier, I'm not sure if that means he'll play against West Virginia or if that means it'll be more the game after that, with another 10 days. We have some guys that went in the concussion protocol earlier and that they're just still not out of it, so they're in there. Graylin Arnold's still not back, hopefully maybe Oklahoma State. Harrison Hand didn't play against Texas. He practiced, so he should be good to go, I assume. So having Harrison back, I'm sure will give us a little more depth in the secondary, and that'll be good for us.
Does Xavier coming back change what you're doing at the offensive line as far as if he's fully healthy?
I think when he's fully healthy, yeah. I just, right now he's kind of limited. So, but I think when Xavier's fully healthy, he's a starter for us. And left tackle, Malin's battling through just a kind of an old beat up knee, and in that game, like Texas game, Fu Morgan was sick. He was throwing up on the sideline. So we've had our share of little things here and there, but hopefully they're all going to get healthy down the stretch.
Now, when you were at Temple, did you ever play them? Did you follow them, being in that area at all? Or?
No, I grew up a Penn State person, and so I remember the days of watching all those games, right? And then, there was a time when we'd sit there just as a football fan. I loved watching the backyard brawl between Pitt and West Virginia, and then I married my lovely wife Julie, whose parents are both Mountaineers, so she's been back to games. So Jeff Nixon, our offense coordinator, he went there and played for 2 years under Don Nealon. So I would watch when he played. But, a lot of respect for their program, and really a lot of respect for Daniel Holgerson, Coach Gibson on defense. I mean, they really good football coaches. We recruited, we saw the guys that they recruited a lot. So when I was at Temple, they did a lot in the Northeast. And so, Penn State, by the time I got to Penn State, we were Big Ten, and those rivalries had kind of died off, unfortunately.
With how the game at Texas ended, you talked about how you saw a different kind of emotion coming from your guys, and then you go into a bye week, so that taste in their mouth has to sit there a little bit longer. Do you think that's a benefit for your guys to still have that as what they're coming into West Virginia with?
I think the biggest lesson that they learned from that is hopefully that you can't win big time football games against big time teams on the road when you make a ton of mistakes, right? It's the team that makes the fewest mistakes that wins. And so I think that lesson of sort of that everything counts is one that I heard them saying. We can't win if we do this. And so I've just seen, really the amount of distractions that I deal with on a daily basis from late to, the minute a kid's late to class, I get a text. The minute, everything kind of funnels in through me. And I just think the level of little things, right, that are happening has diminished a little bit, and I think the importance, you can hear the seniors saying it, from hey, let's keep the locker room cleaner to this. I think they're starting to realize if you want to be great, you have to learn how to be great every day and be the same guy every day. And so they were certainly disappointed after that game, but I think it's the lessons that they learned that are important. And we're facing a team. If you saw Coach Holgerson's press conference after their loss to Iowa State, there's no doubt that they're going to be ready. And there's no doubt that Coach Holgerson's going to be ready. And there's no doubt that Coach Gibson and his defense is going to be ready. So, we know we're walking in to face a highly, highly motivated team. And so we can't control that. We can't control the crowd or anything. We just got to make sure that we're highly motivated and we're highly prepared and highly focused. And so based on last night's practice, I would say I feel good about it in terms of where we are. And then we'll see how today goes and hope that, that we enjoy this process. But, I said it before, and, going on the road, you take a bunch of young guys on the road, and they go to Oklahoma, they go to Texas, now they go to West Virginia. You hope that they come out of this game saying, I understand what it takes to win on the road. There's a certain mentality you have to have, and I think every game we get a little closer to having that toughness, that steely-eyed determination, man, I'm not going out here today to not play my best. And so hopefully we do that.
Do you feel like, given the performance they had against Texas last week, your defense is kind of playing its best football right now going into this tough stretch?
Our defense has been weird. I mean, if you look at the Kansas game, we held them to 7 points on one play. And if you watch Kansas, I know they maybe struggled record-wise, but they've put up yards and scored against a lot of people, right? So that day I was like, wow, we made a big jump, right? And then Oklahoma, Oklahoma was averaging 50 points against everybody. And that game kind of got away from us at the end. If we could go back, I think we'd play better in the fourth and it'd be a little closer game. Kansas State, we didn't give up a pass play over, 20 yards, but just gave up these long runs. Kind of put it all together at Texas in some ways, but, as I tell our defense, we can't say we played well if we didn't have a sack and didn't create turnovers. We need to go create turnovers and sack the quarterback. And so that will, this is a different kind of offense. This is a dynamic offense, and our chance to stop them, no one really stops them. So what do you have to do? You have to try to create some negative plays. You have to try to rip the ball out, get some turnovers. And so I think our defense is definitely improving, but we have got to create turnovers, and we've got to get to the quarterback if we want to, come out with a win in this game or any of the other games down the stretch.
Going back to the explosive plays, one area y'all have been pretty good is throwing the ball to the running backs out of the backfield. I think Hasty leads the Big 12 in catches by a running back. Is that a play where, I mean, if you block it right, I mean, can it be maybe more explosive than it has been for you guys?
Against Oklahoma, we were through some angle routes to the tailbacks of the backfield, and they had some 16, 17, 18-yard plays, We haven't really hit them on, like, the home run balls, down the field. But, I think Ebner was a high school receiver, and Jermichael's probably one of our best receiver slots. And so we just try to use them, kind of coming out of the backfield on some option routes and some angle routes, and just some things to keep us going. I think what we'd like to see, from everybody on our offense is to catch the ball, make somebody miss, and go make a big play. We can't. The play design, if everyone executes, which it takes, and then the play should, maybe hit for 4, 5, 6 yards, then it's the next thing. Like, who can do that plus? Who can catch the ball, step out of something, and go for 60? And so we haven't had a ton of that lately, and that's really what we're kind of hoping to get, and we're focused on. Is that, now we've had some of it. You throw the ball to Mims for 12 yards, and he runs all the way down to the 3-yard line. Those are big plays, but we think our backs are dynamic playmakers, so we want to hand it to them. But if we're not running the ball great, then we also want to throw it to them and let them sort of, kind of go do their thing.
You mentioned the dynamic offense that West Virginia has as your best defense, holding on to the ball on offense, having long drives.
Yeah, so I think the number one thing on offense when you face is points, right? So, you take points any which way you can get them, So, touchdowns certainly, change the game. If you can hang in the game, then, it's important. But in lieu of that, I think keeping them off the field is a key. Now, that's not really our strength. Our strength has been playing in tempo and kind of getting ourselves going. I thought when we got, 2 first downs against Texas, then we were able to move the ball then, right? If we didn't get 2 first downs, we were kind of sitting there punting the foot, so it's, can we put 2 first downs together and eventually, get a drive going? So, in my old life, I would have probably lined up and run the ball every play and, tried to create explosives that way with play actions. But that's just not really who we are. We're a little more spread and tempoed out. And I think for our players, I owe it to them, we owe it to them to just let them go play the way we play best, And so if this is what we do best, and that being said, we do have to run the football, and we do have to create some, some shot opportunities. But we have to go out and throw our best stuff out there, let our guys go play. But it would be great if we could keep them off the field, eliminate explosives. And again, I'll go back again. Winning the turnover battle is just we've only done it once this whole year, and if we could do it. The last 5 games, if we do it, we're doing enough other good things that we'll have a chance to win.
Matt, West Virginia's defense leads the league in fewest points allowed. What do you see from them? Are they quite a bit better than maybe than last year, or can you see that?
Well, when we played them last year, they played really well against us. I just think you're not going to find a defense that plays harder, runs with the ball better than they do. Outstanding on third down. I think they're only giving up like 35% on third down. So they'll play man. They got a nice blitz package. They'll confuse you and then run to zone. They have playmakers, the guys who can go make plays on the ball. So I think just defensively they have really good players, a unique system. It's the only system, it's the only 3-3 stack that you see all year. So you have to kind of get ready for it in 3 days. And that difference can be an advantage for them. And, they have their defensive line. Kenny Bigelow transferred in. He's a difference maker. They got Robinson. Those guys are all disruptive and create matchup issues for you up front. But I think just the job they're doing on third down, the job they're doing against the run, they're only giving up 140 yards rushing, are really impressive on their end.
Matt, coming off the injury, what's Chris Platt giving you this year, maybe in terms of leadership in that room or what?
Yeah, Chris, there's the fact that he wanted to practice last week. He wasn't happy with, the UT game and said, I'm practicing. He wasn't doing it to kiss up or anything. He was doing it because he wants to play great football. And I think early on, Chris was kind of getting his sea legs back. And you can see him now, I think, really taking steps. And we'll need him. We'll need those guys down the stretch to make plays in games like this. And, we're counting on him. But he's been such a positive influence in the locker room and in the meeting rooms and on the practice field that it just that alone has made an impact.
All right.